Hello everyone, this is Roy News English for an exclusive interview with His Excellency Mr. Ambassador Yuri Sluka, Belarusian Ambassador to Syria and concurrently accredited to Jordan and Lebanon. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for joining us. I would like to start with discussing the recent European sanctions recently imposed. They were extended in February all over to 2025. What does Belarus think of the impact of these sanctions, and what are the effectiveness of this approach considered by the European Union?
Thank you for your question. First of all, just for understanding, it's a pity, but nothing new for us. Our European partners, our European neighbors, started to implement their friendly sanctions against us since 1997, just to understand the situation. So all these almost 30 years, more than 25, let us say, we are living in such conditions. But at the same time, every year, every day, repeating from Belarusian side, we do not accept these decisions. We are dreaming to live in one European home, peaceful, in harmony, but respecting national sovereignty of every state. That is our small but strong, very strong will during all these years. And believe me, day by day we've studied how to live and to live more or less successful during all these years under all these conditions, and we finally survived. We are really independent state in all the aspects of our life. Of course, in politics, but more that is more important in economy. So almost already for now, just to finalize it, the sanctions are not new for us. Of course, we are not happy with it because first of all, it influences not to some high-ranked people or some. First of all, for the common people. This is, of course, leads the problems for people. First of all, freedom of movement. You asked, what does it mean for us? And one day we realized that, of course, it's a pity again. It's a pity that borders are closed, that we cannot find the common words with our European neighbors. But from the other hand, this is a good opportunity for further development while turning another side to find a new markets, a new trade partners, and so on and so forth. Not just looking in one side.
Mr. Ambassador, you mentioned the idea of sovereignty and respecting national sovereignty. The European Union imposed these sanctions because of what it calls electoral irregularity. Now, there's a lot of questions asked by the European Union about the legitimacy of President Lukashenko and the legitimacy of the electoral process. What does Belarus think of these claims? And how does it respond?
This story, again, it was going in parallel with this sanctions story, again. And I know it quite well, the situation. Yes, one day, at the beginning of 90s, we agreed in all these rules, electoral rules within OSCE, you know, the Organization on Security in Europe. And yes, they've got special regulations, rules, procedures, and so on and so forth. And yes, from the very beginning, also we accepted the rule to invite the observers to all the electoral campaign. And one day we found also very interesting story that the mission, observation mission that is coming, in our case, to Belarus, before, several days before the elections, they came already with the ready reports before the elections. And yes, with all the violations, of course, we are ready to accept the common rules, for example, within the international organization, within the Europe. It's okay to follow these rules together with all the countries on equal basis. But we cannot accept the position that you have to do this and that, but we will do it on our way. Result of the elections, this is a will of the people that are living on this concrete territory, and only they can decide what's gonna be or who's gonna be the president, the member of parliament, or the member of local authority. It's only up to them. And this is our strong position during all these years. And from the other hand, we are respecting the goodwill during their electoral campaign all over only in Europe, but all over the world. So this is the decision of the people who are living in this very country, and no one could somehow influence. Of course, we are not insisting that we are ideal, that our system, electoral system, even political system, is ideal. Of course not. We are a young state, just 30 years of the independence. Of course, we are still studying from the best practices from all over the world. Where is it possible, and that is acceptable for us. Yes, this is truth. We are open on this issue. Last February, on the Republican referendum, our people, we adopted a new text of constitution of the Republic of Belarus. It was changed not totally, but several chapters or articles were renewed according to the current situation.
Recently, Russia has deployed nuclear warheads on Belarusian soil. How does this exactly serve Belarus's interests? And does this affect its sovereignty? And what is the level of independence that Russia has over these nuclear warheads that are deployed?
Belarus and Russian Federation, we are, from the end of 1990s, we are in a state of union, the exact name, Union State of Belarus and Russia. So it means we are allies in all the spheres of bilateral relations. That was our Belarusian, of our president, idea to ask Russian Federation to bring their special weapons and install it on our territory. But this was not just for fun. After several steps of our neighbors saw that on the territory of Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia, that are our neighbors from the west and north of Belarus, when one day we saw that the number of NATO troops, not of these countries, but from Germany, from Italy, from United States, was increased in several times. The closest military base is just in Lithuania, just 20 kilometers from our border. By land, it's just to our capital, just 100 kilometers and something. So when we saw this potential threat to our interests, to our sovereignty, to our country, yes, after several times and several negotiations, there was a decision taken to place these special military weapons from Russian Federation, and we assume it only as a instrument of defense of our territory. We were forced to take this decision and to do this. But again, it's just for the reasons of defense, no other, this is for sure.
Now the recent conflict between Ukraine and Russia has brought a lot of strain between the relationship between Belarus and the European Union. Is there some sort of consolation down the road between the two sides? What do you think that maybe does every side have to give something up to maybe achieve this rapprochement, if we can call it that?
No one day we have closed the door to the West totally. All the time we were open with our Western neighbors and partners, even further, I mean, the United States. We are ready to open the equal and fruitful dialogue. One day, all of us, we will see the common and global problem or effect of our current situation or relations, coming back to Europe. And I'm sure one day we will, all of us, we will change the opinion towards each other. For all over the world, for everyone, is clear that only the constructive cooperation could be the way out of civilization in global sense. In the mountains, this is not the way out in the 21st century. Only the global cooperation will be the way out, but without sanctions and no wars.
Now, Mr. Ambassador, I'd like to discuss some regional issues here. The Belarusian government has been a supporter of the Syrian government and President Bashar al-Assad. What is the nature of this support, and how do you think it aligns with Belarus's interests?
Not too many countries or people that have in their history such a sad experience. I mean the war, and I mean the occupation of their own country by, doesn't matter, foreign troops or terroristic organization, but by enemies, let me say. For us, there were no need to explain how Syrians are suffering after what has happened. We know that. First, it means, we, before and until now, and I'm sure in the future, we were and we are supporting people, Syrian people. We, first of all, we know each other for a long time, not only last 15 years. During the Soviet times, the ties were quite wide between Syria and Soviet Union, and some of the Syrian young people, they were studying on the territory of Belarus. For us, for a long time, long before the crisis, it was a friendly country. Of course, when we saw the situation, what happened in Syria, for us the decision was the only one, somehow to help, to support. We would like maybe to do more, but both countries are under sanctions.
Now that the Syrian conflict is, maybe we can say, at its latter stages, do you see a way for Syria to integrate back into the international community?
As I usually say to Western representatives in Syria. Until all of us who are here, different diplomatic missions, international organizations, representatives, UN, of course, missions, until our intentions towards Syria will be different, but they are different, frankly speaking. I mean international community, we would not be able to make the things better in Syria. Until all of us will be positive towards this country, they will face problems, of course.
Well, now Belarus has maintained diplomatic relations with both Syria and Jordan, and possibly we can describe them as good diplomatic relations. How do you think you can balance between the interests of Syria and the interests of Jordan, maybe, if they diverge perhaps on certain issues?
The main idea is we are opened and we are ready for cooperation with all the country all over the world. And we are quite realistic in this aspect. We respect our external policy or structures of two countries. So we are especially, almost we are the same, yeah, in territory, in population, something equal. So we just need to find these common points of common interest and just to realize it on equal basis.
Now for, maybe we can say, the big question, the war in the Gaza Strip. Obviously the focal point of maybe world politics right now. Where does Belarus stand in this, and are there perhaps any measures or steps being taken to maybe alleviate the issue?
We are totally against military, any military actions, especially against civilians, especially against children and women. This is, of course, awful things. And of course, the main idea, we support this main idea from all over the world for immediately ceasefire. As it was decided or approved by the UN Security Council, the Palestinian people has the right for their state. We are against this cruel methods of bombing, and of course could not be accepted, and only peaceful and political decision must be taken. But again, under the condition of multilateral agreement and understanding of the situation, and the common understanding, not with several interests in favor of only one or another side.
Now, Jordan and Belarus have enjoyed diplomatic relations for almost 28 years. Are there any areas of cooperation currently being worked on?
Both our countries, we know each other for much longer period. Both of us, we have no to discuss something critical in the political sphere, because we have almost the same opinion or vision of the global issues. We are interested in cooperation in the trade and economic sphere. We are working for the last couple of years. We are working very actively in the sphere of education. So now we brought, during previous years, we brought several delegations or representatives of our universities and institutions. Now they are working, or some of them, they are working on some bilateral documents with the Jordanian universities and institutions in the field of student and professors exchange, in the field of cooperation in scientific researches. The main idea, there are no any barriers between on all the levels, starting from the highest, but at the end between common people. So, and I feel it during last almost 5 years of my posting here as an ambassador, and we really feel and see this will from the Jordanian side to cooperate with Belarus, with Belarusian representatives, with Belarusian government, and we have the main what we need, the goodwill.
Well, hopefully we see more and more cooperation and more prosperity for both countries. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for this interview, and thank you for joining us. This was a wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much.